and welcome back to 996 The Howl. Again, the best 10-game stretch the Coyotes have had since last 10-game stretch. From games 50 to 60, they went 5-2-3, and now from games 60 to 76, 2-2. The best 10-game stretch Coyotes have seen in like a really, really, really long time. In the past 20 games, they're 11-4-5. Just really out tanking their tank and pretty much winning themselves out of the tank race. That's why there's no tank race, at the 70 game mark, which is unfortunate maybe for some, maybe most, but really good games. Coyotes playing extremely well. Some of the best individual stretches of games I have seen from a Coyotes player in a really long time. We'll get into it. They're 26th in the league, 26 wins on the season. They're so close to being NHL 500, about 6 games away, 26, 32, and 11. All their metrics, pretty much every single one, except obviously shots on goal per game, increased. They're not even in the bottom 5 of barely any of these. Obviously, face-offs, shots on goal per game. That's basically it. Those are bad metrics for the Coyotes. It has been bad under Andre Tourigny as a whole in both seasons, but everything else, goals for per game, 2.8. Nearing that 3 goal per game mark, which a good team should have. I'm hoping next year they eclipse that 3 goal per game mark. Goals against per game, it's been coming down slowly and slowly as the season's been going on. You want to see that below 3. Maybe next season, that's at 3.44. Power play is starting to get back up. We had a stretch maybe of 30 games, 40, where the PP wasn't really good. But now the PP good, 19.51%. Good for 23rd in the league. Like I said, it's been up. It was up at the 60-game mark. It just continues to go up. Penalty killing as well. I always wanted penalty killing going into this season to be like top half of the league. Almost there. We'll see where it finishes near the end of the season. 23rd in the league at 76.14%. This is the last, 10-game report, whatever you want to call it, before the season end review. Save percentage, well above 900. League average save percentage is 900, and the Coyotes have above average save percentage in the league. They are 12th in the league in save percentage. Honestly, like looking at this team nowadays, it honestly does not make sense. If you're an outsider or a fan of someone other team, and you in your mind are just, Coyotes are bad, then you look at their stats, it's like, how are they 12th in the league in terms of goaltending stats? 904 save percentage, that's over the full course of the season. This isn't just game 60 to 70, like over 70 games, Coyotes have a 904 save percentage. Unbelievable. Up from 901. That was the first time they crept up over 900 save percentage. Shooting percentage exploding even more, up almost a half goal per game. 10.9% of their shots go in the net. Good for 6th in the league. This is just Andre Tourigny's system. I can't even explain it. To me, it doesn't make sense. Obviously, you don't want high quantity shots, low quality shots, but they have like the worst quantity of shots in the league by a mile. They're always dead last, 25.5 shots per game, but they score on over 10.5% on them. So you're good for about 2.5 goals per game, which matches with their goals for per game, which is 2.8. So yeah, they don't get a lot of shots on net, but they know how to execute, and that was a problem with Rick Tocchet, where they had a lot of shots, but they didn't know how to score at all. Didn't have any confidence in scoring. This team, they have a lot of confidence in scoring. Like you look at Clayton Keller's goal. I know Clayton Keller's on a high right now on confidence. They should probably go into a lab, make that into a substance so people could snort. That's the amount of confidence Clayton Keller has right now. He just picked a corner. He knew where he wanted to shoot. He picked it right away over Stalock. Just a tremendous goal. You would never see that under Rick Tocchet, where a player just had so much confidence to take a high-risk shot of missing. There was such a small amount of space that puck could have squeaked in. but he picked it. He wanted to pick it, and he executed really well. But yeah, top 6 in the league in shooting percentage. Pretty unbelievable for the Arizona Coyotes. We go to faceoffs, which is up just a little bit, but it's pretty much the same. But they're not last in the league anymore in faceoffs. They're up to 29th in the league. They lost Nick Bukestad, so Laurent Dauphin has taken control of second place in terms of faceoffs on the team. First place is Barrett Hayden. We'll talk about Hayden a lot once we get to individual records. But Hayden leads the team with 50.7% on the faceoffs. Dauphin is 50.5%. And then it drops off hard with McBain and Travis Boyd. McBain's got 44% in terms of faceoffs and Boyd 43.2%. I expect McBain to really work on his faceoffs this training camp and summer. Sure, last training camp and last summer, it was just him getting his body up to NHL quality, trying to make the team. Now you work on the details of your game. It's like, okay, you're in the league. You were in the league the whole season. Your body's in good shape. You know how to fight. You know how the speed is. You could play at their pace. But now it's about the details, working on your face-offs so that, they're not 29th in the league in face-offs. You can't just rely on Barrett Hayden and everyone else is well below 45%. So he's got to work on that in the summer and training camp. But yeah, I would like their face-offs to be much better next season. You start out with the puck, you get more possession. That's how it works. Maybe that leads to more shots on goal. Hits, still, top 10 in the league. It's always been. They're at 25.87 hits per game. I started to record hits per game because their fighting was a bit low when O'Brien was out of the lineup with an injury. But obviously now fighting is back up. But I wanted, to record their hits per game under Andre Tourigny and Bill Armstrong because they always say they want to be a prickly team, a hard team to play against. So if that hits per game number was like 20th in the league, that wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't translate well. But, with hits per game being where it is, it makes sense. This is a hard team to play against. They hit you, they play physical, and the fighting is there again as well. They have 5 hits from games 60 to 70, 4 of them in that Minnesota Wild game. They're 9th in the league in fights at 23. So, loving those fights. Didn't love that Imama versus Reeves fight. Pretty much, I don't think anyone did. But, love it when the guys fight. I love Josh Brown when he fights. Love McBain when he fights. Lawson Krause rarely, but you don't want to wake up that bear. He pummeled Middleton on the Minnesota Wild that game. So very entertaining, very good stretch of games for the Coyotes. It kind of doesn't make sense. It is mullet magic. They are 20, 11, and 3 at home. Just ridiculous. If they had like 75% of that percentage on the road, they'd be like knocking on the door for a playoff position with this roster. They're on a 4-game win streak. They're on a 6-game home win streak. And they're on an 8-game point streak. So 8 out of these 10 games since game 60, they've gotten points in. It's just been ridiculous. It's been a fun time. The crowd loves it at Mullet. And we'll move on to the individual players here. So Keller just literally exploded from game 60. I looked, obviously I have to look at the 60 video. So looking at the 60 games video, Keller had 58 points, and now at 70 games, he's got 75. That's 17 points in 10 games. Literally unbelievable. He eclipsed the 30-goal mark in the past 10 games. 32 points, 43 assists. 32 goals, 43 assists for 75 points. The Nick Schmaltz, who missed a couple games. He's only played 7 games in the past 10 games. He's got 6 points in 7 games. Didn't look too good, last night against Chicago, but he's coming off an injury. Not really sure what that injury was. He looked a bit slow out there, not confident, but he'll get his legs under him soon enough. 21 goals, 26 assists, 47 points. He hasn't played 70 games. I forgot to write down. He's around 51 games. He's not point per game just yet, but he's close. I think it's like 47 points to 51 games. Michelli, who leads NHL rookies in assists, He was leading NHL rookies in points per game on Friday. He had a goal Saturday night against Chicago. I didn't look at what Beniers did, but he should be top one or two. 7 goals, 32 assists, 39 points for Matias Michelli, who should definitely be in the Calder Trophy consideration for best rookie of the season. He has to. I've heard no mainstream media talk about him. It's all just Coyotes fans, and somewhat the hockey guy is promoting him. But I would like to see when people talk about the Calder Trophy nominations that he's right there with McTavish and Beniers. There should be no question about it. He's missed 15 games compared to Beniers. Then we go to Lawson Krause, who has been quiet for me a little bit, but still 7 points in 10 games. Michelli had 9 points in 10 games. So even though I say they're quiet, they're just getting these points. Krause, I felt the second line didn't have a good game against Chicago. They got that empty netter, which is why Michelli got a point last night. But yeah, Krause, 7 points in 10 games. He's eclipsed a 20-goal mark. Hopefully he gets to 25. Right now, I really want Keller to hit 40. That would be crazy. That like a 40-goal scorer on the Coyotes. I thought that would never happen, for the past 7 years. He needs 8 goals in 12 games. Can he do it? We'll see. Krause, 38 points, 22 goals, 16 assists. And then Hayden makes it in the top 5. And this is not because of default, because I'm not going to write Chychrun and Gostisbehere because they're not on the team. He's eclipsed them into points. He's a bona fide top 5 point getter for the Coyotes. 14 goals, 23 assists, 37 points. Loving him right now. He had 13 points in the past 10 games. He blossomed into a number 1 center on this team once he got promoted to that Keller and Schmaltz line. Even when Schmaltz was injured, Brett Ritchie was there, and Hayden sort of took the spot of Nick Schmaltz. He's loving playing with Keller. This is an awesome line. Next season, I want to see this line keep together and maintain that pace and point production. And then you have new young players like Cooley and Gunther making the lineup, along with Michelli and Krause maintaining their pace. It could be a really exciting forward group moving forward for next year. But yeah, I am so happy that Hayden is finally in the top 5 points on this team. He has to be. He's 5th overall. This is where he should be. And it took him about what? He was drafted in 2017, I think. About 6 years. The first 30 games of the season, he had like no points. So I think he's got like 32 points in the past 30 games or something like that. Just, since the new calendar year switched over, he's been amazing. And he's fit like a glove on that first line center role. And then we get to goalies. We got a new goalie in the mix here. We'll start with Vejmelka. Haven't seen much of him as of late. We'll get to that why very shortly. 18, 19, and 5. Pretty respectable, win-loss record considering you're on a tanking team for Vejmelka. 903 save percentage, 3.36 goals against average. Then we get Connor Ingram, 6, 13, and 6. He's been playing really well as of late. Better save percentage than Vejmelka, 909 save percentage, and pretty much the same goals against average of 3.37. And then Prosvetov finally gets his first NHL win in the past 10 games. He's up with the team now. They're holding 3 goalies. He's undefeated this season, 3-0-0, 952 save percentage, 1.6 goals against average. Obviously, a small sample size, but it took so long. He made his debut for the Coyotes in the shortened 21 season. He never got a fair shake under Rick Tocchet. In the last season of Rick Tocchet, he played against the Avalanche twice and the Vegas Golden Knights, who were monster teams that season. And then last season under Andre Tourigny, played against Tampa, the Avalanche again, and some other really elite team. I believe it was St. Louis. St. Louis was good last year. They were in the playoffs. But this season, he finally faces teams that are not above the playoff line. He plays amazing against Nashville, Vancouver, and really good against Chicago last night. That second goal, losing your skate blade, you cannot blame him for that. I hate that, skate blades can now be detached. It just looks so embarrassing when it happens. It is rare, but still embarrassing when it happens. But the reason why they're playing Prosvetov a lot, and now they're kind of rotating Prosvetov and Ingram. Vejmelka's getting the rare start. Both Ingram and Prosvetov are restricted free agents this summer. Prosvetov is no longer waivers exempt after this season, so after training camp next year, they need to decide what two goalies they're going to move on from. And because they've never played Prosvetov before this season, even though I used to say, hey, you're facing a weak team here. Last season, even not Rick Tocchet shortened season, they were battling for a playoff spot. But last season, they rode Vejmelka so much, and I was like, why? Like, just play Prosvetov. It's a lost season anyways. But they didn't, and now they're in a spot where they don't even really know who Prosvetov is. They're not sure if they want to commit to him over Ingram. Ingram's got that pedigree of being one of the best American Hockey League goalies, and he's been playing really well the past quarter of the season for the Coyotes. So they got to make a decision. For me, I would stick with Prosvetov. Ingram was just gravy. Nashville put him on waivers, lost him. We picked him up. He's been really good. I wouldn't tie my horse to Ingram. Prosvetov's been in the organization for so long. He's drafted by the Coyotes, but it's going to be a tough decision. I would like that Bill Armstrong does trade one of these guys to get assets for them instead of losing one of these guys for free on waivers or, obviously, waivers, because once you make your roster next season, neither of them are waivers exempt. So a trade should be coming after this season, maybe at the draft. Trade Ingram for a 4th round pick, maybe 3rd round pick. But I would like to see a Vejmelka-Prosvetov tandem. Hopefully Prosvetov ends the season on a higher note. Obviously, on a high note, sorry. You can't get higher than these numbers. And these numbers are unsustainable. To me, as long as Prosvetov ends the season above 900 and below 2.5 goals against average, it would be good. But I wouldn't give up on Prosvetov so quickly. It is on management's fault that they have such a small sample size to look at Prosvetov in the NHL because they rarely played him last season. So that's why they got the carousel going with the 3 goalies. So that's it for me. Like I said, the next one will be the season end review. So it's been a crazy ride the past 20 games. Really highly good, very, very good, really good past 20 games for the Coyotes. It's hard to, articulate why it's happening. It's just Andre Tourigny's getting the most out of his top 6. The bottom 6 is invisible and non-existent, and the only reason why they exist is to give the top 6 time to rest on the bench. So I'm just, excited for next season, excited what happens when Andre Tourigny has talent throughout his lineup. I can't wait to see what happens when Andre Tourigny has young talent, because we know from his junior coaching days under the Ottawa 67s, they were a monster team with such amazing young talent for a couple seasons while he was coaching them. So maybe that translates to the NHL. We already start to see it with Valimaki just erupting and exploding to a prominence, like surpassing J.J. Moser as our best defenseman since Jacob Chychrun got traded, and Gostisbehere as well. So he knows how to coach young talent. He knows how to give them confidence. You look at Soderstrom playing his best hockey as a Coyote. So it's really good that we're a really young NHL team with even more young talent coming through. And we have a coach who's really good at coaching and developing young players. So it's a good recipe, and I'm just really excited for next year. Right now, I always used to say you have that elephant in the room and that dark thought in the back of your mind that, you should be tanking, increasing your lottery odds. But next season, there's no more tanking. See how the chips fall, and just really excited for next season. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, spread the word. And as always, thank you for your support.